I don't have my microphone in position. Hello! Hi! Sitting here like the gigantic dumbass, and I'm like, something's missing. Something is not where it's supposed to be. What could it be? I don't know what it is. So I'm sitting here, I'm looking at my water, got my keys here, got my phone. What could... Oh! The microphone's sitting over there! Alright. Happy Friday, right? Couldn't tell. I'm glad it's the weekend. My brain is just done. Oh, happy Friday, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. How you doing, Toasty? How's things going post-launch? You feeling good? Still feeling good? Oh, lordy, lordy. I'm just tired. I just had a long week. Had a lot going on. I am just glad that the next 2 days are going to be spent not playing Momodora Moonlit Farewell or Moonlit Finale or whatever it's called. Because I don't know if you know, that game's boring. It's real boring. I can make Momo fart out little Cahos though. That's cute. Oh no, yeah. Well, I mean, it's not like a game-breaking bug though, and again, it's not a bug that I think is gonna be found by most people. Reviews are great, downloads are going strong, fantastic. That's awesome. That's awesome. I don't know your game dev history, but something you'll want to watch out for is you can get post-release depression. So be on the lookout for that and know that that's a thing that can happen. That happens to me every time I release a game. Like that first week you're flying. Uh-oh, it is? Is the mic distorting? What's wrong with the mic? Hold on, am I gonna have to pull up my own stream to see what the mic's doing? Let me see here. A little bit, not horrible. Alright, well we're gonna find out. Blah 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 microphone. Oh, what in the world? That's not... No, we don't... Okay, that definitely was not happening before. Okay. Gonna try something. Okay. Let me check this now. I think that fixed it. Did it? I don't know that I hear. Okay, yeah, I think my mic's on the way out, which I mean that's fine. I got this one in 2014, so you know. Maybe it's time you hang up the old blue snowball and invest in something. I'm not gonna get an XLR set up. Hell no. I don't want to deal with that shit at home. I'm like the audio engineer that doesn't want to do... I don't want to do audio engineering at home. Hey Beepner, how you doing? Was just telling everybody I'm just super jazzed that it's the weekend. I probably sound tired. I like I can't hide it at this point. I'm just tired. Like I've been sleeping like garbage lately. Like I sleep 4 hours a night now or something, 4.5, and I'm just like, boy, I wish that thing where you sleep 12 hours would finally happen to me, because I'm going out of my mind. Tired of this shit. Yeah, you ain't wrong. Alright. Anyway, we're gonna hop back in, and I don't know, maybe we're gonna get choked again. Let's see if we can get choked again. So last time we were here, We're gonna try and make Valerie spill the beans. She's gonna talk now. She's finally decided to talk to us about things. So we're gonna talk about things. And away we go. Well, with all that out of the way, Valerie, would you like to tell Adrian about some of the things you shared with me earlier? Sure, that was the plan after all. She takes a moment to arrange her thoughts before diving straight into the second half of her extensive backstory. So when I said we never met again, that wasn't actually a lie. We've only ever seen each other in that hospital. Years went by. Life was shit. I went through some stuff. I don't want to talk about any of it again. I get it doesn't really matter either. Evelyn nods as if to confirm that the details aren't relevant at the moment. Well, I'd prefer to be the judge of that myself, but I guess I shouldn't insist. For now. I could never manage to fully forget her, however. How could I have? The very first entries in my log were filled with our conversations. I've always had the urge to talk to her again, and at some point I just called the place that her father was working at. That was the only idea I had. And yeah, I managed to get a hold of him. Told him that I felt the need to thank him and all for saving my life. Made some stuff up about how great I've been since. He was happy to hear from me, at least he said he was. I didn't really care either way. All I wanted to ask for Amelia's link ID. All I wanted was to ask for Amelia's link ID. Gave it to me right away without even asking. Amelia surely would be happy to hear from me as well, he said. And after a bit more of acting like I was interested in his life, we hung up. That was the only time I ever spoke to him. If I had a properly functioning brain, I would have messaged her right away, like, "Hi, I'm that kid from back then, want to chat?" But I didn't. Instead, I looked up her profile and read through her post history. Oh man, oh no, you're going Facebook creeper mode. Let's go! Let me see that online status. Remember when you could hide your status on forums? That was me. I was doing that shit all the time because, like, I am that person. When forums were a thing, I am that person where it was just like, if you saw my name in the now online portion of the forum, for people who remember forums, I was like that person. It was like, oh God, don't message me just because I'm online. Don't just message me hello just because you see me online. And then people would do that and it would irritate the crap out of me. Now, if you had something to talk about, fine. But if you just met, hi, I see you're online. Get out of my face. Oh no, Funyarimpa, I'm sorry to hear. Internet outage, that's a bummer. But hey, the game's out now at least, so perhaps you've had a chance to play it and catch up with us, perhaps. But I hope you're doing well. It's a Friday, we're cruising into the weekend. I hope you got some fun things planned. Hope the internet stays up. I was having a lot of internet issues this time last year, so I feel you. You already finished it? Nice. Yeah, I always appear offline on Steam as well because I don't want people just messaging me on Steam out of the blue. You just remember the people messaging you with, hi! That wasn't happening in that hasn't happened in so long. I try to message friends every now and again just to say, hey, hope you're doing well, what's up? I started doing that more like when the pandemic started. It was just like, oh man, I think people really need to know that people be thinking about them. But anyway. Instead, I looked up her profile and read through her post history. Yikes. Well, to be fair. Sorry, how old were you at the time? Right, thanks for asking. Like 14. Okay. Yeah, keep that in mind and ignore all the creepy and cringe stuff, okay? Gotcha, we're good. Everybody was creepy and cringe at 14. I wasn't just doing it to stalk her. Well, maybe I was. But really, I wanted to get in contact with her in a natural manner. Unnatural for me, but natural for her. I was trying to find out what kind of things she was into, what kind of communities she was part of, and then one day joined one of them. It was a total bust. I ended up in some weird place full of nerds who were really into mystery stuff. I don't really know what to say. I never really cared about anything like that, so I mostly just lurked around. It did help me with learning more about learning about what Amelia was doing there, however. What kind of mysteries she liked and all that. Amelia's probably big into Umineko, I bet. She's got that look to her. Just screams Umineko fan to me. While she did also talk about movies, books, and games, what stood out was that she kept discussing a certain urban legend. I'm sure you can guess what I'm talking about. Yep, we got you. I read up about it a bunch, tried to craft my own theories surrounding it, and then rejoined with a new account. My username was... Okay. Okay. Wow. Edgy much? Well, 14. What did I expect? Funny to imagine how things would have gone if she told us that her username was Null right from the very start. Could have backfired hard. So I guess it was a good idea to keep it hidden. It's interesting, though. Amelia got her into all of this stuff in the first place. So I'm almost starting to feel like all these things are connected after all. Amelia being here in a game that is based entirely on an urban legend that she was deeply interested in years ago. And that can't be a coincidence, can it? But what kind of reason could she have had to look into it so much? Maybe... Hey, are you listening? Okay. Okay, no. Amelia though? Ping. Okay. The telebus, they ended up in some weird place. Okay. What kind of mysteries? My username was Null. A bunch of weirdos from that community were pretty annoyed right when they saw my name. Oh no, not another one, they wrote. Amelia, though, pinged me right away, and we sent messages back and forth discussing our theories on what happened back in 71. Well, I already knew hers, but I could at least act interested. Eventually, when there was nothing left to say about the truth game, she DM'd me. I pretty much ignored the existence of that community from then on, and we just became friends. We talked about whatever came to mind, ordinary things we never told anyone IRL. She told me that she wanted to dye her hair. I told her that I wanted to get pierced. She told me about how much she hated her father for never having been home. I told her I wished mine wasn't home as much. She told me about some guy she met. Hey, are you listening? Yep. Definitely not caught up in my own brain stew here. Not at all. Okay. Not sure whether she believes me, but at least she acts as if she does. Years went by and we kept exchanging messages. I learned so much about her, and she so much about me. No matter how much time passed, however, I never once told her anything about who I am. And the longer I waited, the less likely I was to ever change that, the less possible. Yeah, like, how do you carry on a friendship for somebody with, like, I don't know, the 2-year mark, and then suddenly, hey, by the way, do you remember the hospital a bunch of years ago? Like, I've definitely had run-ins. Like, I played PSO with somebody back in 2001, and I ended up meeting them again in a completely different environment in 2013. So, weird shit like that can happen. But that's totally different than what's here is like, oh, I reconnected, but I also didn't tell you for 3 years that, like, oh, by the way. I couldn't just tell her that I was a child from the hospital, that I stalked her and lied to her in order to become her friend. And so I remained as an empty variable, no more than one. I never told her my name, my age, my gender, or where I'm from. She knew so much about what I thought and felt, yet so little about who I was. I often wondered how she saw me, what kind of image she had in her mind when thinking about me, what kind of voice she heard when reading my messages, if any. If she ever met me, would that image be shattered? Fuck, I can't believe it. Is that why you kept this a secret? Yep. All the stuff I said about not wanting to reveal too much about Amelia was complete bullshit. I didn't care about protecting her privacy. All I cared about was myself. All this time. The only thing I was worried about was Amelia learning anything about who I was, what I looked like, sounded like, acted like. I wanted to go back to the way things have always been. I wanted to remain nothing, everything. Whatever she imagined me to be, that's who I wanted to keep alive the most. I see, is all I can muster the courage to say. Evelyn slowly pats her back. To my surprise, Valerie doesn't complain at all, just remaining silent. What made you change your mind? That's what I would have liked to ask, but honestly, I already know the answer, don't I? It's less what and more who. With every passing hour, we reveal more and more of our past, and Evelyn is definitely doing a great job at convincing us to, well, get along and work together and all that. What is it that I need to hear to come clean as well, fully, and not just act as if I do? Somewhere deep down, I already know the answer. I just can't quite reach it yet. Here, can you say anything else? Okay. So we kept a secret. I not wanting to reveal too much. I see. What is there in your opinion? Okay. Now that I got all that out of the way, I still wonder whether it brings us any closer to solving this whole thing. Does it? Well, can I ask something? Do whatever you want. What about the time before her disappearance? Did she say anything that stood out, or did she just stop messaging you without any prior indications? She turns toward me, leaning against the wall with plants glitching through her every now and then. I wish I could just quote our chat, but I still remember it roughly. Our last convo. Yeah, even before that, she hadn't been as active as she used to be for a while. Figured she was just busy with her girl at that point. Didn't have much need for me anymore. Whatever. I'm not bitter! So then, the last time she messaged me, it came as a bit of a surprise when she started to apologize for just that. Said stuff about how she was just really busy and kind of overwhelmed with life at the moment. Then she would explain it all once it's settled down. I told her that it was fine, of course it was. I wasn't mad or anything in the first place. She was extremely grateful, promising to take the time to catch up. Then that she was just gonna take a break. It all seemed weirdly out of character for her, but I didn't question it any further. I was just happy to hear her I was just happy to hear she seemingly cared about me that much. Didn't really understand why. In retrospect, I guess she must have already known that something would happen to her. Or at least that it might. Whatever kept her so busy at the time, did it have something to do with all this? All that digging into some strange urban legend, was it more than simple curiosity? And after that, did you still try to message her? Duh, obviously a bunch of times. Didn't ever get a reply. Yeah, you got it. At first I didn't think much of it. She wanted to take a break after all. If anything, I felt like an idiot for bothering her to begin with. After months had gone by though, I started to get worried. I thought about calling her father again, but I couldn't. After all, I had never actually messaged her, despite asking for her ID. If I asked about her again, I would have had to reveal that Noel and I were the same person all along. That I had kept that fact a secret from her for years for no proper reason at all. None that I could explain anyhow. Does that mean that you never knew for sure whether she had actually gone missing? That's right. I often wondered whether something happened to her or if her last words were just her twisted way of cutting me off with minimal guilt. Been there! Been there! I only got the confirmation today that she had gone missing around the time she stopped replying. In a way, I was glad to hear it. God, I'm disgusting. Well, at least it's not just me. We quietly remained like this for a while. Honestly, I forgot whatever else I was gonna ask. And maybe I should leave it at that anyway. She said enough for now. Even Amelia seems to have already known that she might disappear, at least for a while. Did she sense that she was in danger? Or is there something else and I'm still missing? Another option. Anyway, I think that's all I got for now. She looks over at Evelyn. You want to try the thing we discussed earlier? What, kissing? What? Who said that? Oh, of course. She promptly leaves the table, heading towards the living room. I will return once I'm done, alright? Right. And with that, she's gone. What was that all about? I'll explain that once it matters, if it does. Yeah! Doobaloo! How you doing? How things going? The only thing I ever asked for is to get choked by Evelyn. I'd be into it. I don't mind. I'm here for it. Hope you're doing well, Dr. Doobie. Taking the night off to get some chores done? Yeah. That's what I describe my streams as, watching my streams as too, so I get you. Just organized a ton of Pokemon cards? What are you, 5? Why are people my friends? But yeah, I hear you. Some like it's stuff you just don't want to deal with on the weekend. If you say that, you might get banned. Yeah. Mr. Twitch, he is over. I can confirm that Dr. Doobie is over 40. Dr. Doobie is much like me and Junanasai. I'll explain that once it matters, if it does. Okay. For now, She pauses. Fuck. So, sorry. Huh? For choking you? Oh, yeah, right. I was into it. I'm kind of hoping... hoping Evelyn does it too. It's fine. Yeah, I'm doing alright. I'm just tired going into the weekend. I had a busy one. I'm just like, bluff. So I apologize for the lack of energy tonight. Not really as hype as I have been. She probably would. Oh hey, Funyarimpa. Hey, I wanted to give you we were passing a few cans around last night, and I saved one just for you. Hope you enjoy. It's very refreshing. We all passed a few around. It was a good old time. Only a few more. There's only a few more precious cans of Giselle juice remaining. So pour out a Giselle juice for the homies. Yeah, I'm saving a couple for the homies. Limited time offer. Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. Evelyn told me to say. Evelyn told me to pour out a gamer girl bathwater for the homies. Why not? Evelyn told me to say that. Yeah, okay, so you're not really sorry. You don't seem all that surprised. I mean, it's fine either way, really. You didn't need to say that, but yeah. Ah, well, now I did. So, was that all? What, not good enough for you? No, I just meant, is that all you wanted? Oh, I guess. Okay, cool. And so we stand around instead of sitting at the table next to us. I guess we already spent quite a lot of time sitting today, so it's all right. Normally, I would use this opportunity to contemplate what she's thinking about right now. What the true intentions behind her half-assed apology could have been. But there's not really any reason left to do so. After all, I feel like I already understand. Instead, I'll try and return the favor. All right, thanks for the glass of water. What? Earlier, when Oliver asked whether anyone wanted some water. Oh, that. Yeah. Weird thing to bring up. Well, I just, yeah, you know, whatever. I'm trying here. It's fine. It's fine. Thanks. Thanks for thanking me. No, choke me again. Yeah, I'm holding out for the Evelyn choke. So, you know, we've already sampled the Valerie choke. Solid. I'm telling you. Evelyn, that girl's got a good set of strangling hands on her. Bank! Oh, shut up. The words themselves barely mattered, and yet she understood, I think. As if to prove just that, she continues. Did you really want to sacrifice yourself? I guess so. Are you sure? I think so? Doesn't sound all that sure to me. Does she know? Did she know this entire time? And if so, why hasn't she said anything before? You said you had assumed that Sophie might be on the other team from the very start. That's why you didn't even try to win, right? Pretty much, yeah. For someone who wasn't trying, you were pretty nitpicky when it came to inconsistencies you noticed. Yeah, I made fun of all your theories, but it sure didn't seem like you weren't trying to figure stuff out. Anything that could help us with understanding our situation. Even after Oliver told us about Sophie actually being here, you never tried to sabotage us or stop us from making progress. You still tried to push me into revealing as much as possible. The only thing you ever did was try to divert our attention. Have everyone focus on what I know and make sure that nobody was on to you. As long as it didn't have anything to do with you or what you knew about Amelia, it was all fair game. You never really wanted us to lose. All that talk about sacrificing yourself for Sophie was just an excuse, wasn't it? A way to make yourself feel like your actions aren't as selfish as they seem. You never actually wanted to die, and... I swallow. She leaves her wall behind, slowly stepping closer and closer toward me. Uh-oh. I think it's happening again, y'all. You're still hiding something, aren't you? I think you're reading too much into this. I just didn't want to be responsible, to appear useless, for you to hate me, to raise suspicion. I instinctively always roll back when we try to go past those. But anything not said is not recorded in the log. To raise suspicion. I'm speaking the truth, and yet you're right as well. Valerie is standing right in front of me, her gaze focused on my expression, trying to ascertain the veracity of my words. I don't know what my face looks like in this moment, but I doubt it's doing a particularly good job at masking what's behind. Then again, it probably doesn't matter all that much anyway. I'm convinced that she has pretty much figured me out at this point. Even if I never truly revealed how I feel, she has been reading my every action like an open book. Why am I still trying to hide anything from her? Stubbornness? Suddenly, though, she backs off. A door swings open as if to prevent further scrutiny. My savior briefly steps in. Valerie turns her head towards her. So, your theory was correct. I found some rather interesting things that I would like the two of you to take a look at. Sure. Evelyn nods and then turns around. Valerie follows suit, not even sparing me another glance. I still don't have a clue what this is about at all, but I guess I'll find out soon. Did they really manage to figure something out? Only one way to find out. Entering the living room, I see them once again, standing in front of the cabinet we weren't able to open before. Have they found a way to do just that? Based on the fact that Valerie is once again pulling on the handles without anything happening, it wouldn't seem so, but Evelyn looks at me and begins to explain. Alright, you are still out of the loop, Adrian, is that so? I nod. When Valerie and I had our conversation in the kitchen, she proposed an idea as to why we might not have been able to open any of these drawers. After all, Oliver mentioned that Amelia had apparently managed to open the one in their respective living room, but only before Oliver and Nathan had returned to see for themselves. Oliver had suspected that she might have only imagined it or something to that effect. Frankly, I thought that explanation was kind of shit. So instead, I thought about how the fuck is this thing, how the lock, and how the fuck? Why am I just want to curse. It's Valerie speaking, so I just want to curse more. I thought about how the lock in this thing might work. And then I remembered what we said about the door earlier, the exit. That it probably just checks for the number of nearby Neuralink signals. Yeah, I thought this one might work the same way, might be locked as long as there are too many people nearby. And she was right. As if to demonstrate, she once again pulls on one of those handles. Nothing happens. Wow! Just like before, it doesn't open. Meanwhile, as you waited in the kitchen, I was finally able to take a look at what's inside. She takes a step back and points at the table on which a bunch of documents have been placed. I only took a brief look through its contents and took out anything that appeared at least somewhat relevant. For now, it seems like a decent enough starting point. Valerie picks up a piece of paper right away, starting to read without a moment of hesitation. I, on the other hand, simply stand in front of the table, letting my eyes hover over the texts in front of me. Most of them are largely redacted, and only bits of pieces remaining readable. I try to scour them for some kind of hint, but I can barely process any of it. What they have in common is their age. They all appear to be from around the time when the original experiment was supposedly had supposedly taken place, according to the story Valerie told us. 2071, 2070, some are even older. They were probably kept here this entire time. Did Noel want us to find them, or did he not know that they were here in the first place? From what I can tell, they all seem to describe the details of that experiment. Not knowing much about parapsychology, I don't really get any of it. I can merely guess at what some of the terms mean. Minimum delay, abstract transfer, connector, generative simulation, neurological override. Barely having any sort of context doesn't help. While I continue to stare at the table, Valerie has apparently already finished going over the documents she first grabbed, promptly switching it for another one. In that moment, I notice a text that was mostly covered by the one she just picked up. One that seems to be readable for the most part. I grab it. Hopefully this will make any sort of sense. Parasociology? I don't know. They're all words. They all mean the same thing. There's a pair of words there that sound the same. You know, pair of these nuts. How about that? Boom. Got him. Destroyed. Can never show your face around here again. You better, because you're one of the only people that do. So please continue showing your face around here again. Paragoomba. Paratroopa. The abstract transfer experiment is scheduled to start on... Wait, is this July 3rd, 2071, or is this March 7th? You know, most of the rest of the world uses, day, month, year. Okay, July 3rd. Gotcha. All right, so this is July 3rd on 2071. The participants will gather in the Parapsychological Research Center of New Berlin before being transferred to the newly established underground test site. In addition to the scientists involved, representatives from the following members of the United Corporations of Europe will supervise the event on site: Neuralink, Nanolog, and Art Arms. Fourth the May be with you. This is Germany. You're not wrong. I know. I got you. I was just making sure. They will arrive at the test site one day prior to the experiment. Once the experiment commences, no one will be allowed to enter or leave the structure for the entire duration of the event. All forms of communication or data exchange will be prohibited as well. Although the exact duration is not set in stone, it is expected to last no longer than 2 weeks. The final list of supervisors has not been confirmed yet. However, the following 6 test subjects have agreed to participate. They are unaware of any further details beyond the general relation of the study to our current predicament. This matches with what Valerie told us earlier. I can't get laid in Germany. Rammstein's pussy in bio! God. When I was in school, we had a German exchange student in 11th grade, and I felt sorry for poor guy because, man, Rammstein just got big at the time, and everybody was like, hey, come look at this lyric book for Sehnsucht and tell me what it means. Is the world aware of the issues surrounding Rammstein and all that? Just like genuinely wondering whether or not it ever... Oh, the weird sex party stuff with Till? Yeah, it sounded kind of ugly. And like, it sounds like the rest of the band was just kind of, I don't know, man, that's not our bag. I just want to play guitar. That's the thing that I heard about. But Till always kind of struck me as maybe a weirdo and maybe, I don't know. Yeah, there was an accusation. It sounded like the way that it was translated that it was settled. So that tells me that there probably was, unless that translation was off. But the translation I read of what was going on said that it was like settled. But I don't know if they meant settled as in, you know, person dropped their accusation or Till Lindemann ended up paying a bunch of money. Yeah, and then the cop said there was no corroborating evidence, but then I saw the word settled, so I wasn't sure. Like, you know, again, that's probably like a mistranslation or something. If there's anybody that's probably into weird, you know, sex party stuff, it's absolutely Till Lindemann. And not that there's anything wrong with sex parties in and of itself, but like when like drugging people is involved, maybe that's kind of a... Yeah, Crew Space seems pretty cool at least, yeah. This matches with what Valerie told us earlier. Our current predicament, must be that nil thing. Found anything? She puts down the document she was holding, a frustrated expression covering her face. Well, I don't know how helpful this is, but at least it's readable. Pretty much confirms what you told us about earlier. This is really the test site from 71. Without another word, she snatches it from my hand and starts to read. I watch her eyes moving swiftly across the page. Given the fact that the text doesn't cover much beyond what she had already told us, I don't expect to find much of a reaction within them. All of a sudden, however, they widen with surprise. What the actual... Is there something I missed? What is it? Have you noticed something? Did you not see the names? The names? Oh, right. There's a list of names on the bottom of the page. The participants of the original experiment. Before I can reply with anything else, she shoves it straight into my face. 6 names, 6 people I've never heard of before. Until I notice a familiar last name. Not once, but twice. Neiman. Irene Neiman and Rena E. Neiman. Who are they? Oh my. Neiman. I took an arrow to the knee and I said, oh my, Neiman! Neiman Marcus catalog. Yeah, I was thinking that too. Evelyn, who has apparently snuck up behind me, is peeking over my shoulder to inspect the list of names herself. So they were involved in what previously happened in this very facility? I never would have guessed. This can't be a simple coincidence, can it? No, definitely not. She lowers her hand and turns away. I don't know about Irene, but Rena, that was the last name of her, that was the name of her mother. Her mother? But if this experiment was conducted in 2071, that means she must have been a mere child at that point. Guess so. I think it would roughly fit. Maybe Irene was her mother then. So Amelia's grandmother? That seems plausible. Yeah. If it wasn't clear before, it's more than clear now. None of this is a coincidence. Yeah? Yeah? Starting to think that? The next round is about to begin. Please prepare to gather in the hall at your earliest convenience. Before I get the chance to discuss the common thread connecting all of those events, a familiar voice rings out, interrupting me mid-sentence. It's the same monotonous voice that we last heard when Valerie tried to exit the hall with Oliver. And with that, we stand there, dumbfounded. Except for Valerie, who makes her way towards the door without delay. What is it? You're not coming? I was just, is that announcement new? Something about to happen? Oh, the two of you just haven't heard it before, huh? No, we've not. Are you implying you have? Yeah, the same one playing right at this. Yeah, the same one was playing right at the start when I first locked myself in the bathroom. Guess you can't hear it from the hall. Makes sense. Don't really have a reason to. Now that I think about it, it's true. Whenever Noel appeared to give one of his speeches, we were already in the hall by chance. Makes sense that he wouldn't want us to miss out on them. So, you want to stand around all day? Oh no, of course not. Let's return to the hall. I nod. One after the other, we head through the door. It feels strange how quickly we went from what's most likely been our biggest discovery yet to quietly standing next to one another once more. I can't come up with a good reason then for enter the hall again. I need an announcement or something. Sometimes it just be like that. Sometimes you just got, oh shit. Don't worry. In the moment, I didn't sit here and say, hey, that seemed ham-fisted. So I didn't notice it. So that means you did a good job covering it. I mean, sure, at this point, we might as well wait a couple more minutes and tell Oliver about it, too. But will we? Somehow the characters return to the hall. Use that one in the next game. We like in this stream. You see, you're gonna have to rewatch these collective streams again while you're writing part 2, because I think we've given you a lot of gold dust for part 2 that you can just work with. We're basically writing the second game for you. We're making it as easy as hell. Your face is a big goofy ass. Your mom's a big goofy ass. I don't even know what that means. How did that work? Yeah, a whole entire person is a big goofy ass. I don't even know what the fuck that means. Ah! Just imagining a person who is just an ass. Just an ass. Like they are feet with an ass. And that is it. And maybe they like have a little ass on the back where a normal ass would be. So they're like an open ass in front that kind of opens like blinds or something, like curtains. You know, when they talk, the butt cheeks kind of fan out a little bit. And then the ass, and then they got a little ass because, you know, all living things got poop. That's what a book told me one time. Giselle juice is being served in the lounge, fresh from the source. I would advise you to come and indulge in the sweet nectar. Is that the game PO'd? There you go. Giselle juice, front and center. Get you some. Bah! All right. Boom. Anyway. I mean, sure, at this point, we might as well wait a couple more minutes and tell Oliver about it too, but will we? Valerie looks like she's more than busy enough to just trying to pull all the pieces together in her head. Meanwhile, I'm still unsure about what the hell I even want in the first place. Do I want to solve this? To find the truth? And once I do, will I finally tell them everything I know? The usual rumbling of the elevator returns. I wonder, how much could he still have left to tell us? Haven't we been over all the rules at this point? Oh, he back! I understand one of you here is a big old cringe lord who had my name as their forum username a number of years ago. Everybody, point at the little punk goth weirdo. What a cringe lord! You are all shitters. As per usual, he's not granting anyone a single glance, simply beginning to speak in the most monotonous of voices, barely ever fitting the words it produces. Hello, everyone. I hope you've been doing well these past 3 hours. Well, I said the same last time, but I hope you don't mind me repeating myself. I already know how well you've been doing. I'm glad to see that each team has, in their own way, managed to make some progress. This is a copyright violation and Valerie will have to be penalized for her actions. Her head explodes like in Scanners. Damn! This was all just to get revenge for somebody taking his very cool nickname when they were a child. You might still wonder what it is that you were even trying to find, but don't worry. You don't necessarily need to know that. All you need to know is that you're getting closer. Well, hearing that might not mean awfully much to you, so instead, how about I give you a bit of a helping hand, I'm not a monster after all. You've already noticed that the locked door in each of your halls, right? Not the exit, the other one. Of course you have. I'd be worried had you not. How about granting you access to the room that lies... Oh, we're going in! We're going in! Oh God, this guy totally would. There's this, there was a Saitan Azuki account on Twitter that posted in character as Shatan from Xenogears, and it started out really funny. And then he just started beefing with children and like just lording his quote, like legit beef too, not like in character. Like suddenly the character stopped being a thing and it was just this grown-ass man playing a video game character yelling at little kids online, and it ended up just being the most cringe damn thing I've ever seen in my life. How about granting you access to the room that lies beyond it? All right. And just as he says those words, the scanner on said door turns green. Finally. Yeah, it was Jetstorm and John. Both people thought it was John or Jetstorm that was running that account, and both of them were just like, dude, it's not me. And I mean, like, I had kind of already figured that out when I saw him starting to, like, legitimately beef with kids online and just call teenagers stupid. And it was just so, oh God, it was so ridiculous. Why was it locked in the first place? Is whatever we find in there actually going to help us? If so, maybe he just wanted us to think for ourselves for a while, if we're starting to straight up hand out hints. If that's the case, if this is actually going to be as significant as he needs it, as he's made it seem, then this might be the turning point for this whole ordeal. I have to, once and for all, make up my mind. After all, I have no way of knowing what the other team is up to. There's going to be a machine in there, isn't there? A machine that does things we talked about talked about earlier. Beyond the door is the DashCon ball pit. There you go. Behind me, the elevator has already made its way back into the ground. Noel is gone. Despite that, Valerie is still staring at the spot from which he had repeatedly addressed us. What's wrong? I wonder whether... Well, I wasn't really thinking much on it last time, since that was the first time I'd seen him myself. But the way he positioned himself there was the exact same, wasn't it? I mean, I guess so. That sounds crazy. Same for his first speech, the one I didn't get to see? Yeah, that's exactly what exactly do you mean? Well, the way he was just rigidly standing there, staring straight at the wall that's separating us from the question team, never bothering to look at either of us. Yeah, true. Perhaps the scripts for his speeches are being displayed on that wall? He might just be reading them out loud to us. What kind of idea is that? If that was all, he'd just have it from his he would just read it from his Neuralink, wouldn't he? To be fair, we don't really know whether he has one himself, do we? No, I guess it's pretty likely he does. Just saying we shouldn't assume that is a fact yet. Well, aside from that, I agree though. Seems far-fetched. Like, why would he even need a script in the first place? Yeah, it's not like he ever had all that much to say. Don't really see the point in him closely following some pre-written text. I simply nod. Honestly, the entire concept of him showing up for those speeches is kind of weird in and of itself. Then again, there might not be any deeper reason to it at all. Overthinking it may be just a waste of time. The fact that he is always shown from that perspective is definitely something. There's something there. I thought that since the first damn trailer I saw of the video game, because nobody else is doing that. The only other person that has a profile picture is right here. And guess what else? She was once known as Null. I don't know if that means anything or not. I think my brain's just cooking on overdrive right now. I'm just throwing out shit that may or may not be connected at all. You love that connection. I am Zero. You have dyed black hair in profile. Only Knowles can turn sideways. That's the lore. Knowles have to be viewed from a sideways perspective. So what you do, here's the lore. Here's the real lore. When you finish the game, it doesn't make sense, but your character has a moment, and he's like, wait a minute. Every time Valerie turns sideways, flash, 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 flash. Huh. Maybe I need to look at this from another angle. And then you have to go back and read the game again and take every line from Valerie anytime that she was speaking to you from a profile point of view. Write that down, and then that's your story right there. I don't know what I'm talking about, dude. Taking notes, all right. My brain's just cooking on overdrive tonight because I'm stupid tired. So, man, that's where my best thinking comes from, when I am sleep deprived. Maybe I should have been more sleep deprived when I read 2236 AD. Oh, by the way, if you've not read 2236 AD, you should go read 2236 AD. It's a very good visual novel, by the way. Look at the text from a side angle. It's all one-dimensional. Yeah, Magane mode! Yeah, alright, we need to get, where's Magane mode? Where's Magane? Is there a Magane mode when we finish this game where all the characters get glasses? Then again, there might not be any deeper reason to it at all. Overthinking it may just be a waste of time. In this case, however, it was also an effective way to kill some time. Before we know it, the large metal door slides open. Before we know it, the large metal door slides open and Oliver appears before us! The thing is, one character almost had glasses before I realized that's silly because, yeah, Neuralink would fix it. Okay, but I mean, glasses could still be a fashion accessory though. I mean, why wouldn't a character... Yeah, I can see people still, like, I know one person who literally wears reading glasses, like, even though they don't need to. Like, they just wear them because they look really nice in them. And yeah, which character would have had glasses in this story? I would be interested in knowing that. Before we know it, the large metal door slides open and Oliver appears before us. None that we've seen so far, Nathan. Think Grandpa would look handsome in them? I can see it. I can see it. Before we know it, the large metal door, I've read that text box 3 times. I'm going senile. Last time his face wore a frustrated expression given what we had heard from Noel moments before. This time, he looked just as troubled despite the unusually good news we had just received. You alright? Why the long face? Oh, it's nothing. Don't worry about it. Oh, well, you know, when somebody says, oh, it's nothing, don't worry about it, I'm gonna fucking worry about it. God damn, could you be any more obvious? Just had a bit of a quarrel over in the other hall. His face instantly tightens up, but he's clearly still bothered by whatever went down beyond that door. That's so. That is quite troubling to hear. Well, it is to be expected. After all, Nathan turned out to be our enemy in a way. Yeah, and now that he knows, it makes sense for them to no longer trust each other or work together. Yep, that's right. He nods in agreement before backtracking ever so slightly. Well, no, I kind of got myself to blame for him no longer trusting me. What do you mean? Did you do anything that would warrant distrust? He sighs. When I came back, Nathan didn't actually mind that much. Of course, he was aware of what Null told us, but he still thought it would be the best course of action to combine our efforts. He said, well, something about how he didn't see any of us as enemies. The real enemy was Null, he said. And I mean, he's right. Still, didn't expect him to feel that way. Sounds like things were off to a good start. So then, how'd you mess it up? Well, I said I didn't have much to share. That y'all didn't tell me much of y'all didn't tell me much of importance. He figured I was probably just being careful and thought it would be a nice gesture if the two of them simply started with their reports. Maybe that'd break the ice. Nathan shared some things he heard over in the other team. Amelia brought up a couple of details she remembered. And then, when it was my turn, I kept quiet. The Socks Make People Sexy Discord community? Yeah, it's like I run a website called socksmakepeoplesexy.net and it's the Discord for my community. We've been around since like 2005, so it's, you know, it's a pretty comfy place if you ever want to join and hang out. I mean, you could already be there. I don't know. I've not been to my own damn Discord server in a little bit. Too scary and big. Aw, I'm sorry. I mean, everybody's nice. You know, it's not a cliquey place where, you know, but I understand also it being hard to integrate despite the fact that, you know, but I've had many people tell me over the years that like that our community is a nice, quiet, comfy community where people feel like they can easily kind of slide in and feel good, and you know, that's something that I pride myself on. It's not cliquey. It's not you know, a cult of personality or anything like that. It's just a bunch of weirdos who like to talk about all their dumb weird stuff together. And so yeah, thanks for joining. I hope you have a good time. If you need anything, I'm right there. You know how to find me. I just drop me a DM. I'll get you sorted if there's anything you ever need. And then when it was my turn, I kept quiet. Huh. Guess you're a man of your word at least, huh? Guess so. Well, assuming he's speaking the truth. Guess we'll never know for sure what's really going on in the other halls. What you're saying, however, is that Nathan and Amelia have shared some additional details with you, have they not? Would you like to tell us about those? Oh, right, of course. He clears his throat. Amelia went first. Yeah, like oh god, I keep Discord small because like I hate going to a new Discord and then there's like 900 channels that nobody's using. It's like, so our community like doesn't have a lot of channels, but I think that that's good. My community started like in the forum ages, so I think we carried a lot of that same philosophy over and keeping things like nice and tidy and compartmentalized and not like splaying it out to like 800,000 other channels, you know, because somebody wants like a wet pants farting contest channel or whatever. I don't even know what a wet pants farting contest is or why that combination of words just came out of my mouth, but we'll roll with that. Amelia went first. She mentioned a couple of things she remembered about her family, what happened to her mother, how she's living at her father's. Pretty much lined up with what we already know. Nothing really stood out. He glances over at Valerie. Didn't mention that, of course, don't worry. Yeah, go on. Then it was Nathan's turn. He told us that, surprise, Sophie recognized the name Adrian. That she brought up that she brought up being friends with him, and that he was the one to come along with to the visit to the Neuralink Center. Well, stuff like that. I guess you had already figured that out as well. I nod reluctantly. Yes, that part's what we discussed earlier. Perfect, because I told them that I already knew that. I know. I said I'd keep quiet, but come on, they already figured it out anyway. Yeah, you're right, it's fine. I'd have done the same. Hey, music channel's always good. Like, I'm always here for a good-ass music channel. Wet Pants Farting Let's Play Olympics. There you go. There you go. See you play Road Blasters while you're ass blasting. In fact, that's pretty much exactly why I decided to finally reveal it in the first place. And it was to our advantage, too. He agreed that it wasn't much of a sign of trust from his side, telling me something I'd obviously already known. He didn't need to be aware that it wasn't quite as obvious with how difficult it was to deal with a bunch of you. No offense, well, maybe a little bit. So, does that mean he ended up telling you something else instead? Right, about something Sophie had noticed over in their hall. A strange drawing on one of the walls hidden behind the AR stuff. She hadn't thought much of it, but when she drew it on a piece of paper to share it with Eric, apparently he knew what it was. Some cult symbol. The collection of Anamnesia or something, according to Nathan. Hey, did you know Anamnesia is also the name of like a furry porn game? Just, you know, putting that out there. Did you know that? And that 5 months ago, somebody had to rename their video game? A cult? Are you seriously telling me that something like that is behind all this? It might explain the craziness of this entire situation, but that just seems so absurd. What would some cult want from Amelia, and what does any of that have to do with us? might be just a coincidence. No use in overthinking it, right? You didn't see anything like that, did you? Nope, nothing at all. Figures. Do you think that they're the ones behind all this? Honestly, I think it's still too early to judge, but Nathan said the other answer team was pretty convinced of it. I have no idea, though. I never heard of these guys before. Didn't even know cults were still a thing. Well, before we discuss that any further, was that all then? Right. After that, Nathan asked me to share something from my team, but I refused. I'm not sure it was the smartest course of action, but it felt like the right thing to do, you know? Yeah, you did fine. Honestly, who knows whether that Nathan dude was actually being sincere. He was just sharing info to get you to spill. Might have even made up the whole thing about the cults. Made the whole thing about the cult symbol up on the spot after his first attempt at proving his trust failed. Sure, he's right. Null is our real enemy. But that doesn't change the fact that gathering info for our teams is gonna decide about life and death. For as long as that's true, there is no way to actually trust a single word Nathan says. Earlier, I thought we should trust anything that we heard from QT. That we didn't have a choice anyway, as long as we want to have any sort of chance at winning this thing. I'd argue that the situation has now changed, that we have sufficient reason to doubt Nathan's word. That it might be better to think twice about whatever we hear from him. Oliver stands still for a while, processing Valerie's argument. He nods. Yeah, guess you're right. She remembers Matt Pat, but she doesn't know about him retiring. Into Five Nights at Freddy theories. That's good. Yeah, I guess you're right. So then, you want me to continue keeping my mouth shut? I honestly think it doesn't really matter anymore. Who knows whether we'll even live long enough to see the next round? Come on, don't talk like that. You know it's true. We barely managed to make any progress this entire time, but who knows how the other team has been doing. But then I'm not done talking. And yet she hesitates. It's not like she ever worried about Nathan getting some sort of hint out of her story. That was never why she kept quiet about it to begin with. I'm not saying that I'm giving up. I'm just saying that this game suddenly ending without any kind of warning is getting more and more realistic the longer we wait. And so this might be the last chance to tell her. I think whether we still get out of here or not, I want her to remember. No, I think I want her to know the whole truth. The truth. A word that carries a lot of weight in our situation, and so must Valerie's decision to finally reveal the secrets she's kept to herself all this time. I told these two while you were gone. Guess I don't have a choice now. Hey, I interrupt her mid-sentence. One of the scariest feats imaginable! At least from where I stand. Sorry, but what about the door? Yeah, I've been sitting here for the last 10 minutes dude, door, dude, door. I'm freaking out over here, flailing my arms around, pointing, holding. I found enough material to make a sign that just says, doors number 1, doors number 1. Door? We all turn around, our eyes fixed on the previously read scanner. Ah, right. That's what Noel was just talking about, huh? I mean, I didn't want to interrupt you or anything, but I just thought maybe we should see what's behind that first and then discuss anything else, you know? Yeah, it's fine. You're right. We still got time. I can hold off on repeating my backstory a third time, at least for a bit. If anything, she's probably relieved. Though she might also just be used to it at this point. I don't know. Can't relate. This is true. We should probably see what the door has in store for us before deciding how to proceed. We collectively move closer and closer towards the door, then stand still, waiting for someone to make the first move. We've been waiting for this, yet now that we're finally about to open it, we feel hesitant. Or at least I do. Let's make a deal! What if it's a zonk, though? I mean, if this is a life and death game, it could very well be a zonk. We could get zonked here. I'm reluctant, nervous, anxious. I am feeling things that I can't quite put into words. Will this door answer any of our lingering questions? Will it give us even more? I'm like solidly on team. Oh, that's gonna give us so many more questions. See, I know what these characters don't know, and that this is part 1. Valerie takes another step forward, reaching out towards the scanner. I'll just press it then, alright? I nod before noticing that she can't see me, standing behind her back. Of course, whenever you're ready. Her hand meets the green surface. Without further delay, the door slides open, like the rest. And I'll hold you there for a second. I'll be right back. I need to refill my Giselle juice. I'll be right back. Man, y'all know what's stupid as fuck? Weather. Like, yesterday and today, it was like near 70, and we had a thunderstorm yesterday. Tomorrow, guess what the high is gonna be? 32. What's happening? The world's dying! That's what's happening! It's going insane! I don't even know what to go outside and wear anymore. Do I leave the heat on at night now? No, not tonight. It's gonna be like 50 tonight. But tomorrow it's gonna be like 32, 33 degrees, and then 21 at night. Like, what's going on? What's happening? Just a tangent. I'm just kind of like, it's been bugging me. Just sitting here. Just like, man, hate the weather. Without further delay, the door slides open like the rest. Behind it hides, a room unlike any other we'd seen so far. Hello, look at all this. Oh, this is some stuff. I don't know that I like what's going on here. That's, oh dear. Here we go. One that does not seem to hide its true colors behind augmented reality. One that, despite that, seems to be the least real out of all of them. These are juicers. Where do you think you get Giselle juice from? You gotta throw your Giselle in one of these here machines. What? the hell is this? Yeah. Sure looks scary. Is anyone in these? He leans over one of the metal coffins, glancing through the small window in it. Oh, there's some fun little sprite work there, like that. Nope, just water. Well, there better not be. It would have been a scary thought to find someone hiding in there. Despite that, he continues to check the remaining boxes, simply nodding his head. Evelyn, on the other hand, takes a closer look at the cables and tubes connected to them. I suppose I have an idea of what these pods could be, although I've never seen this specific model myself. That was a pretty smooth lean. It's mode 7! Anything that involves turning or zooming is mode 7. That came up in somebody else's stream today, where it was just like anytime an effect happens in any game ever, the first thing people say is, it's mode 7! Is this how they extract gamer girl bathwater? Pod? Model? Well, yes, it makes sense after all. From what we have deduced so far, this place seems to be rather old. In other words, these must be some of the first prototypes of the machine I have in mind. Yeah, sure, I got that, but like, what is it a model of? What are they? Well, I'm not quite sure yet, but these might be what I've told you about earlier. Earlier, you mean, when we talked about whether it would be possible to make someone's memories disappear via accessing their Neuralink data. I said it wasn't, not without specific equipment. So these are what you meant. They might be. As I said, I can't say for sure. It would make sense though. There are 3 of these pods here. The other teams probably have the same room, so it should add up nicely. 1 pod per person. We've all been inside one of these. Mommy milkers? Oh my god. Well, what good would putting me in one of these do, huh? After you say mommy milkers, Oliver's like, what good would it do to put me in one of those? I can't, dude. This isn't happening. This isn't happening. Well, what good would putting me in one of those do, huh? Clearly didn't get rid of any of my memory. I really don't want to be milk. You don't? Are you telling me you're not a fan of the thought of being prostate milked? Are you telling me that's what you're saying right now? Never thought that I would ever. I believe that in the in the almost 10 years that I have been streaming now, I have never mentioned prostate milking. I have now just mentioned prostate milking on my stream for the first time in almost 10 years. So I'd like to thank everybody for being here for this very special occasion. I think that we've really accomplished something great here. It's part of this Let's Play Forever, Toasty. Remember that. That is going to be part of this Let's Play Forever. I'm sure Noel was aware that I didn't have a Neuralink, wasn't he? In the meantime, Evelyn has started up the terminal next to the set of pods, investigating its interface and clicking her way through a couple of menus for a while. She nods. It is just like I suspected. This seems to be an early prototype of the connector, which can be used to establish a direct connection between the brain and the Neuralink. Wait, but, I mean, I don't know much about all that, but aren't they always connected? Like, what exactly do y'all need that machine for? Yes, of course, but usually there's a certain minimum delay between accessing and receiving data. that can be bypassed using this machine. Well, the exact theory behind it is much more complicated, of course, so let's put it this way. Man, there are so many people that are going to be watching this Let's Play in the future, and they are going to go Google prostate milking for the first time. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine us being, all of us right here being the impetus for somebody's whole new fascination? Again, could not be. Nobody will do that! Yes, it's like an SSD to bypass PlayStation load times. That's exactly what it is. Tozy's like, nobody's gonna do that because I'm DMCAing this shit as soon as it hits YouTube. Well, the exact theory behind it is much more complicated, of course, so let's put it this way. By resting inside of one of these pods, data can be transmitted directly to the user's brain. Through this, they can, for example, review parts of their log in a fashion that is much more akin to remembering those events than simply reading through them. This process is called direct transfer. Now that I think about it, before I first woke up, at the start of all this, I think I was dreaming about Amelia. At least I thought I was in a dream. Could it have been? Inside my head, something clicks. It was the same for me. Of course, that wasn't a coincidence. It almost felt like some kind of premonition of what's to come, but in the end, it was just Null priming our brains. You're not exactly 100% sure what prostate milking is? Yeah, look it up. It's fascinating. It's one of those things where you see it and you go like, huh, that's kind of wild, isn't it? Total Recall vibes? Yeah, kind of getting that. Also, the only movie I've ever seen is Total Recall, so just saying. Didn't any of you experience something like that? Well, I obviously didn't. Me neither, sorry to say. Wait, I hesitantly shake my head. I don't think so. No, it makes sense, right? Null wanted to make sure that you remembered Amelia before this even started, to make sure that things go smoothly, I guess. Yes, that would explain it. There must not have been any relevant data to show us. Valerie looks in my general direction. Yeah, sure, I guess. And rolls her eyes. Getting some real Total Recall vibes from this. I keep going back to that. Oh, God, it really is Total Recall now. Is there a three-titted woman in this game by any chance? Anyway, the same thing has been used to make us forget about how we ended up here, right? Most likely, yes. So wait, if this machine can be used, whoa, we're glossing out now, man. Are we glassing out? Like, what's happening here? So wait, if this machine can be used to both make us remember and forget things, doesn't that imply that this same process can also be used to implant fake memories into our heads? If we've all been in one of these, how can we even know which of our memories are real and which are fake? Has our entire basis for what truth is been shattered? Can we ever even figure out who Amelia is? Did Valerie and I really know Amelia? Or were those memories we dreamt of just what Null wanted us to think of as our past? Does Amelia even exist? Have any of the things between us ever happened? You all right there? Okay, hold on. Removing segments of the log can only impact memories linked to available log entries. The same thing has been used to make us all forget how we ended up here. Although it is previously stored in the logs of Neuralink, the procedure is known as a neurological overwrite, referring to directly removing segments from the log. It can only impact memories linked to available log entries. That means that those linked to entries that were previously deleted cannot be affected. Okay. Okay, this makes sense now. Okay. Why is that though? What do these have to do? What do these have to do with one another? Like, how can removing some text entries lead to actual memory loss? Simply put, while, as we discussed earlier, thoughts and feelings are no longer stored in the neural link, each entry is linked to the associated neural circuits. Only through that link can the correct set of memories be targeted. Ah, yeah, I understand about half of that, but makes sense. Well, I do recall pretty much everything by now. Yeah, you were probably just drugged or something. Bit mushy in the head. Speaking of mushy. Huh? Suddenly I notice everyone's looking at me with concerned expression. You look somewhat pale. Are you not feeling well, perhaps? Oh, it's just... God, I'm stupid. It's fine. Anyway, I do have one more question about all this. And what is it? Could this machine also be used to implant fake memories into whoever is inside one of these pods? Goodness, no, nothing like that. You seem... Goodness, you're just like laughing at me for assuming such a thing. When I don't think that that's such a weird thing to assume when you talk about something that can play with your brain like spaghetti on a fork. I don't know. Seems like a logical thing to ask.
So silly. You're so silly, Adrian Kuhn. So silly.
I don't think Eva-chan really likes us very much. Within seconds, all my worries had been dispelled. At least not directly. And they're back. Wait, what? What about indirectly then? Evelyn sighs, realizing that she shouldn't have brought it up and that she will now be stuck with the exposition dump duty for a while longer. This machine can't be used to implant fake memories. Shirt is getting a lot of questions that can be answered with this shirt. It can't not be used to implant fake memories. Yeah? Yeah? The two procedures of which I suspect to be relevant to our situation are the neurological overwrite and a direct transfer. Neurological overwrite to remove memories, direct transfer to recall them. In both cases, however, the memories in question need to already be part of the user's log data. For the neurological overwrite, a specific time frame is submitted for removal. Larger time frames can lead to complications with the subject's psyche, however, so it is usually limited to a couple of days at most. Wait, what the heck is something like that even used for in the first place? There are a selection of medical use cases, mostly related to trauma management. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I feel like this is obviously, like, there's good, you could have ethical uses for something like this in cases of trauma and the like, but also, is that ethical? I mean, and if the person makes the choice to do it themselves, I think it's obviously ethical because I believe in full bodily autonomy. But yeah, like if you start doing that against people's wills, and maybe people want to grow from those experiences rather than have them wiped, then just programming sleeper agents to assassinate the president. Yeah, something like that. Never thought about it much, but I guess it makes sense. Still seems like a questionable way to deal with that sort of thing, but not like I'm an expert. Huh, I see. The direct transfer used to have someone dive back into their previous log entries is used for similar purposes, and is also mostly identical in its functionality. A time frame is submitted and the related files are transmitted to the subject's brain. In this case, there are no issues with entering a time frame for long durations. However, Depending on the amount of available data, the user will subconsciously select the most relevant memories. For a more specific transfer, additional keywords can also be entered. In your case, Valerie, it is likely that Null focused on memories related to Amelia. Yeah, that makes sense. So as you can see, both of these procedures operate only with previously recorded sets of data. There is no way to, for example, submit fake entries for a direct transfer. That is because every entry is automatically encoded in a way that only allows the original user to read it. So it's the other way around as well, right? Each Neuralink can only access memory data that was generated by it in the first place, or something. That's the gist of it, yes. So really, you don't need to worry, Adrian. Your memories haven't been tampered with apart from the day of our abduction being overwritten. I have not seen Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, and it's been on my list to do so for a while, but I am lazy when it comes to movies because I don't like watching movies by myself. I like to kind of have somebody there to just hang out. They ain't even got to say nothing, but, you know. Haven't had a lot of people on hand lately to watch movies with, so. Well, who knows? Still means Null could have deleted some earlier entries as well for whatever reason. I simply smile and nod anyway, although she still hasn't come around to the actual question. So what about indirectly manipulating our memories, or whatever you meant by that? Boredom recommended the movie to you, you specifically finished after Oh, okay, cool. Doing most things by yourself? Yeah, I know, I feel that. Hit me up, we'll watch anime together or something. Like, people always like I'm always down to like try a new anime or something with people, so if you ever want to watch something, hit me up. So, what about indirectly manipulating our memories, or whatever you meant by that? Yes, of course. While the two procedures I just described are the most common uses for the connector, there are others as well. One of those is called abstract transfer. As the name suggests, it is used to transfer abstract ideas, feelings, and thoughts. They aren't fully fledged memories by themselves, but connect to already existing ones instead. The transferred data is, in this case, similar in structure to what Valerie has mentioned earlier about how nanologs used to store emotional data on top of conversation logs. So that data doesn't have to stem from the person it's being transferred to, right? Correct. However, as I have explained, it cannot be used to insert false memories, only alter feelings connected to them. I see. So that means Amelia is real. That's cool. But at my current state, you'll finish every anime you'd recommend. Yeah, apparently I have been watching everything that Toasty would ever recommend for some, like somehow, despite the fact that we've never talked about it. I'll send you my Crunchyroll watch list, and we'll see how much of it would be on your recommendations list. So that means Amelia is real. Cool. Probably. Either way, I'm beginning to grasp what these pods are for. Do I understand how they work? Fuck no. What the hell do any of these words mean? But I feel like I have a pretty good understanding of what they can be used for, and really, that's probably much more relevant anyway. Oliver, on the other hand, seems to have given up a while ago. So, that's great and all, but why did Null open this whole thing up again? Does any of this actually get us anywhere? Certainly nice to know what the hell happened to our memories. Guess so. Well, aside from that, mechanical clicking sounds come from the terminal, which Evelyn is now typing away at. There are two sets of data stored on this setup. One belonging to Valerie, the other to Adrian. What are you getting at? Well, I suspect those to be the reason why Null opened this room for us. Both sets of data are limited to certain time frames, likely ones that are supposed to help you remember something that could potentially help us going forward. Memories of Amelia. Would those really make a difference? Makes sense. That's why it's just data of those two, right? So, like, you want us to get into these things? I'm only suggesting that it would be a possibility. I can hardly judge how much of it would truly benefit us, of course. Are you sure these things are safe, though? Like, couldn't this be some kind of trap by Noel? I am certain that that is not the case. I've been running a couple of tests on it while we're talking. The software itself does not appear to be manipulated in any way. I also don't see much reason to suspect this being a trap. Seems like we were already in those pods anyway. If Noel wants to do anything crazy to our brain, he could have done it by now. Well, he kinda did. However, I do not want to force you into compliance either way. It was merely an idea. Do I want to relive those memories? Not that I ever read through those entries, but this might be different. This might truly take me back. I shudder, thinking back to how I felt when I first woke up. A disgusting feeling, having her words haunt me once more. Well, I don't know about you, but it sounds like an alright idea to me. Do we have any alternatives anyway? I mean, we still had some things to discuss with you, like about those documents and stuff. You haven't seen those. Yeah, and I still have got to tell you about how I've known Amelia. Not like you can tell her about it otherwise. She's just as hesitant as I am, huh? And just like me, she refuses to outright say it. Oh, don't worry about that. Once we've set everything up, I can tell Oliver all about that. With time being of the essence, splitting up might be more efficient, wouldn't you say? Yeah, I agree. Definitely sounds like the best course of action to me. Of course, they'd agree on that. I mean, they're right. But also, they aren't the ones who are about to enter one of these things. Ugh. I shrug. Guess so. Valerie seems somewhat taken aback by my decision. After a while, she simply sighs. Well, I'll take that as a yes. All right, Evelyn. But you recommend stopping when the next scene starts? Yeah, I was actually going to. That was actually going to be my next stopping point. So, yeah. Was already ahead of you. I was kind of feeling like we were about ready to head into really big stuff happening. And I was just like, that's probably going to take a bit. And I kind of just want to like chill the rest of the night. So yeah, I was probably going to go ahead and call it there anyway. Well, I'll take that as a yes. All right, Evelyn, can I do anything to help? I don't think so. Just give me a couple of seconds so I can set everything up. And for a couple of seconds, her fingers dance across the keyboard in front of her, then stop. The two pods light up. She hadn't exaggerated. She only needed those 2 seconds. They're ready. Valerie, please enter the one next to me. Adrian, the other one is set up for you. Simply lift the lid. It should not be as heavy as it looks. I nod and walk towards the pod in the middle of the room. Leaning forward ever so slightly, I grab a hold of the lid and slowly pull it upwards. She was right. It was not as heavy as it looks. Like Oliver mentioned, the inside is filled with water. Despite not being particularly deep, I wonder. So we're just gonna, be in water? Just like that? Correct. What's the hold up? Worried about your shoes getting wet? Well, you can take those off if you'd like. If you come to visit one of our facilities, you would generally undress before entering one of the pods, of course. I simply assumed that neither of you would prefer that in this situation. Yeah, nah, I'm all right. I nod. All right. All right, we're going to go ahead and we're going to stop right here. Boom. Before we go into the brain meat pod. All right. So we will be back tomorrow night to dig more to dig in more into the mystery of what's going on. I've got the feeling some big things are about to go down. You stopped on the exact same line the other person's streaming this? Wow. That's crazy. That's nuts. So what do you think? What are the odds of us finishing tomorrow out of curiosity? Not that I am like in any hurry whatsoever. It's just I don't know if I'm streaming Sunday. So I don't know yet. It's no big deal to me. Like, I am more than happy to stream games as long as I need to. Okay, bad odds. Okay, it's fine. Like, I'm totally fine with that. I just, like I said, I just don't know if I'm streaming Sunday or not. That's going to be up in the air until probably... I won't know something until probably about noon on Tuesday or on Sunday if I'm streaming Sunday. So, yeah. Cool beans. I'm still having a great time. I feel like we're moving closer to something. Like, we are definitely like starting to put together the pieces. We're about to get info dumped real big time, and I'm looking forward to what all that's going to entail. I feel like it's going to kind of crack open a whole bunch. Gonna set the old brain meats ablaze. Get the old thinky gears spinning. So let's see who be streaming. And then we'll toss the love their way. Broom Moss, our good pal Broom Moss. He's playing some Omega Strikers. Broom Moss is an amazingly fun friend of mine. He has been a long-serving member of our community, and his whole stream setup is fun as hell. He's got lots of cool stuff going on, and he's got a fun VTuber and stuff. Oh yeah, I played Zero Escape 3. I like literally mainlined the last 12 hours of Zero Time Dilemma in like 12. Yeah, I did that in one day. Yeah, I did the last 12 hours in one day. Oh no, the bunny! Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, I thought you said I. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. I got you. Yes. I love the bunny. The bunny is amazing. The bunny's English voice actress just nailed that performance. I don't care like if like about people's preferences, like Japanese dub or whatever, but my God, yes. She went hard in a way that she didn't have to. It was amazing. I instantly fell in love with Zero the Third. All right. So, who was I hosting? Who was I going to raid? Broom Moss. Okay, yeah, there we go. All right. We're going to raid Broom Moss. He's going to play some Omega Strikers. He's going to have a good time. Y'all are going to have a good time going over there. We will see you back here again tomorrow night at the same time. I hope y'all have a nice rest of your night and all that fun stuff. And we'll talk to you next time. Bye.